Hello, everyone. Ian McMillan here from BetSide of the Fanside. Joining me today, NFL legend, three-time Super Bowl champion, Mark Schlereth. Mark, before we get things too deep into things, I've been told you have some tips for the ultimate Super Bowl viewing experience, and it looks like by your setup there that you certainly do. Tell me what's going on.
It always starts with the television set, right? LG OLED TVs, the award-winning 65-inch OLED C2 series, the best picture quality, realistic colors, sharp images, no blurring on fast motion. So it's perfect for watching those sporting events, the gaming, the movies, from 42 inches to 97 inches. You know, they always say go big or go home. I say go big with the TV and stay home. LG.com for more information. And then the big game, you got to have big food, big snacks. I love the snacks. Variety happens to be the spice of life, and variety starts with Farm Rich. Tons of snacks and appetizers found in the freezer section of your local grocer. Something for everybody. The snackuterie board. I mean, we've got all kinds of different snacks here. We've got cauliflower bites, jalapeno poppers. We've got the ravioli. We've got the meatballs, the mozzarella sticks. You name it. Check it out, farmrich.com. And then the biggest nightmare is losing power. Power outage during the big game happened to me when I was a kid. I ran 2 miles to the neighbor's house. That's no lie. 2 miles to the neighbor's house in Alaska in the pitch black to watch the game. Jennifer's Home Power, the 2 Pro solar generator, guys. There's no fumes, no noise, no maintenance, rechargeable solar panels, safe to use inside the home, powerful enough to run 99% of your home appliances, the fridge, the fans, the heaters, most importantly, the OLED TV. You can find out more at Jenniverse.com.
All right, I love it. By the way, complete side note, matzo sticks, most underrated Super Bowl snack, in my opinion, by far.
For sure, you got to have tons of snacks. Everybody loves snacks.
All right, let's talk some recent topics. One that broke this morning, got to get your thoughts on, of course. Tom Brady has officially retired, or at least he says so. He retired around this time last year as well, and ended up coming back. Do you think he is officially done for good?
Well, I hope not, but if he is, good for him. I mean, what an incredible career. And, you know, I've gotten to cover his entire career, whether it was the 16 years I spent at ESPN or the last 5 years doing games on Fox, and just an incredible career, man. He just was unbelievable. It was an honor and privilege to watch him play. I've always said the thing that fascinated me most about Tom Brady is never being sated by success. You know, you have enough success and eventually you kind of get lazy or you get used to it, or maybe you don't quite work as hard. The guy was unrelenting in his preparation and the way he approached the game. And I have just nothing but the utmost respect for his career and what he accomplished. The greatest of all time, no question about it.
Yeah, I got to say, my dad was a big Rams fan. I'm a Falcons fan. So my family's 0-3 in Super Bowls against Tom Brady. So a bit of a sigh of relief for the McMillan family this morning. But the other big news, obviously, I need to get your take on this as well. You spent a lot of time with the Denver Broncos, won 2 Super Bowls with them. Big news came out yesterday that they have traded for Sean Payton for their new head coach. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a great trade for them. I mean, they've obviously got to find the magic that was Russell Wilson the first 9 years of his career in Seattle. And, you know, from a coaching standpoint, Sean Payton has had unbelievable success with quarterbacks. And everybody looks at Drew Brees and says, well, he had a Hall of Fame quarterback. Well, remember, Drew Brees got dumped from the San Diego Chargers, didn't pass a physical, and Miami passed on him, got to New Orleans. He wasn't the Drew Brees that we remember. That was part and parcel with his combination of him and Sean Payton creating an offense and developing that offense. And he had success with Teddy Bridgewater when Drew Brees missed some time, had success with Jameis Winston after, 2 years earlier throwing 30 picks in a season. So like, he's had success, and he's a great football coach and a great culture builder within an organization. And I think that's what the Broncos needed. So I'm really excited about trading for Sean Payton.
Now, speaking of the Broncos, and I apologize in advance because I'm going to bring up a little bit of a bad memory here. But I come from the sports betting world, and you were on the wrong side of one of the bigger upsets in NFL playoff history. But this is always something that us sports bettors are curious about specifically, because we're always trying to find big upsets and what causes them. So my question to you is, what does cause a big NFL upset from inside the locker room? Do teams overlook their opponents in the NFL sometimes? Is it just a matter of bad luck, the ball not bouncing your way? Is it maybe a good game plan that the opposing coaching staff came up with? What
Yeah.
causes a big upset in the NFL?
I think probably a little bit of everything. Overconfidence is an issue. Sometimes a team will come out and just match up. Sometimes it's just the way their personnel matches up to your personnel, and their scheme matches up to your scheme. I've come out of a game where all the week's preparation, you get into the game, and what you've prepared for, the team does none of it. They've changed their entire defensive look. I've had that happen to me in the course of a game. Normally you rely on identity, but if you're a much better team than the team you're playing, sometimes they change their identity for that particular game. They completely revamp what they do. I had a team that came out that was normally a 4-3 defense that ended up playing a 3-4 throughout the entirety of the game. It changes your protections, changes everything that you plan to do. So a lot of that stuff can go on during the course of a game. And sometimes, believe it or not, it's you as a football team get to the point where you want to be perfect in everything. So you end up over game planning, like you end up getting away from what your identity is. So all that stuff can happen to you.
Yeah, that's interesting. Styles make fights. I think that's certainly true in the NFL for sure. Let's talk about this year's Super Bowl. Chiefs, Eagles. Obviously, there's a lot of positive things to say about both teams. These are, I think, clearly the two best teams in the NFL that we're seeing face against each other in the Super Bowl this year. But what I want to talk about is their weaknesses, because I don't think any team is perfect, and that's the same for these two teams as well. So what do you think is the biggest weakness for each team, an area that the other team might be able to exploit? And let's start with the Eagles. Do they have a weakness, or do they have an area that the Chiefs might be able to take advantage of?
I would say the one thing about the Eagles is that their linebacking core, their underneath coverage, and I think they're really good players. But I think if you can get them locked up in man-to-man situations or take advantage of the underneath coverage, you can have some success against the Eagles there. But they're an exceptional defense. And obviously offensively, you look at the Eagles, it's about their strength, that offensive line. Like I always say, teams are usually either big and strong, or fast and athletic. And the Eagles are big, strong, fast, and athletic. So they can play the power game with you. They can absolutely physically thunder punch you in the teeth and just dominate the line of scrimmage. Or they can use the pin and pull game, and they are athletic enough to capture the edge and pull their center and do all that kind of stuff. So they're exceptional in those things. And then, you want to talk about weaknesses of the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, listen, they've been really good on the defensive side under Steve Spagnuolo, but they got 6 rookies that essentially play in their dime package. Like they've got a lot of young players, and I'll be very interested to see how they defend that running game, because I think that could be a mismatch in favor of the Eagles.
Let's talk Super Bowl MVP. Obviously, the two favorites, it's always the quarterbacks, but sometimes the quarterback doesn't win. We saw last year Cooper Kupp winning Super Bowl MVP. Is there a name of a player for each team, non-quarterback, not named Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, that you think we should keep an eye on and maybe pick to win Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah, hey, you saw what Chris Jones did in the AFC Championship, the defensive end / defensive tackle. They have the ability to move him up and down the line of scrimmage against every player. So you have an opportunity, if you feel like you've got a favorable matchup where Chris Jones can dominate the line of scrimmage in those situations. So could that be a guy that comes away with 3 sacks and does some exceptional things, maybe a couple tackles for losses, maybe caused fumble or tip ball that gets intercepted? Like that would be one that I would look at. On the Philadelphia Eagles side, whether you want to talk about Hassan Reddick and the season that he's had rushing the passer, he's been exceptional. Obviously you talked about the quarterback, but I think Miles Sanders at the running back position has been great. A.J. Brown is incredible. So you've got a lot of really good players. It just depends on, obviously who shows up and what. I'd love to see the whole offensive line just dominate the line of scrimmage. You can get co-MVPs, the entire offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles. That would make my day.
Coming from a true offensive lineman right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I mentioned from a sports betting background here, the point spread, the total, all that stuff is all fun. But The number one bet, or the number one thing that people like to predict for the Super Bowl, I need to get your prediction on it. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. The length of the national anthem. Chris
Oh, wow.
Stapleton is singing the national anthem. I know you have not researched this at all, but give me an over or under Chris Stapleton national anthem, 2 minutes and 5 seconds, over or under.
I'm going to go under.
All right.
I'm going under, and I have no idea, but I'll go under.
I don't have any idea either, but that's what makes it so fun. So there you go, Mark Schlereth, the official prediction for national anthem, under 2 minutes and 5 seconds, which is where it's set at. Any other overall predictions, or is there anything you hope to see in the Super Bowl this year?
Other than a good game, no, not really. I'd like to see a good game, and because I'm a Bronco, I'd like to see a good game and the Eagles take a championship. That's where I'm at, because I will always root against AFC West teams.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I talked to Eli Manning a couple days ago. He's obviously going against the Eagles, and you being a Denver Bronco, obviously.
Yeah, that worked. I would expect nothing less from Eli.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mark. Is there anywhere people can find out more about the products that you're surrounded by?
Absolutely. LG.com on the TVs, farmrich.com for the food, and Geniverse.com for the generator.
Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate you taking the time. Take care and enjoy the Super Bowl.
You got it. Take care.